Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out 2-sentence horror. Story 1. I woke with a smile to the sound of our baby crying from the room across the hall. My smile turned to terror as I realized that he's not due for 7 months. Story 2. We always assumed that the most violent of the 7 deadly sins would be greed or envy. After the outbreak, nothing would compare with the destruction that lust caused. Story 3. Knowing that my husband loved his coffee to be extra bitter, I made him a special tumbler full of it for him to take to work. And knowing how much his life insurance paid out, I mixed a cup full of herbicide into the coffee. Story 4. Ida for not letting my GF look through my phone camera roll. I just don't want her to see the pictures I have of the slugs I've been putting into her food. Story 5. As we touched down on the alien planet for the first time, we were shocked to discover the wreckage of another identical landing module already on the site. In the pilot's seat sat a skeleton, clothed in my uniform and name tag, words carved clearly into the skull, "Your species never learns, does it? Be the first to comment." Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 6. I am the only one who can see my roommate. Others don't know how to access the cellar. Story 7. I knew it was a risk to hide in a container ship to get to the new country. But who knew they left the containers locked for months at a time when we got to port? Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 8. Giddy up, Jingle Horse, pick up your feet. They're getting away faster than I thought. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 9. I put my 9-year-old daughter to bed only to wake up to her screaming bloody murder at 333 sharp. When I went to check on her, her eyes were glowing bright red, and she told me in an eerie voice, "You're next," before her heartbeat slowly died. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 10. The oddly bent man stared at me from his window as I walked through the dark streets home. I heard his door crash open, a rhythmic steps racing towards me, almost immediately followed by a foul stench of dead meat blowing down the back of my neck. Story 11. The doctor said I was lucky to be alive. The rescuers also found some bloodied money placed over the wreck. It was a smooth ride till I heard a crunch, to see my passenger in the rearview mirror, taking a bite of her infant she carried. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 12. We stayed in the bunker with our parents for 10 years after the world was destroyed. Our dad went out to scavenge one day when we heard someone shout "Freeze!" and uniformed men with FBI insignias came down and said they're alive. Story 13. I've always loved the feeling of the wind in my hair. I just wish I had chosen a taller building so I could enjoy it a little while longer. Story 14. A man dressed in a yellow trench coat tipped me about a shallow grave near the beach. When I arrived, I found the shallow grave occupied by a decayed body dressed in a yellow trench coat. Story 15. I have a huge mirror in my home, and every time I look at it, it glows and shows my reflection. When I looked at it today, it was pitch black. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 16. My dream birding excursion to the wetlands of the Yukon was interrupted by a moose charging past me, followed by a panicked flock of trumpeter swans and other waterfowl. Confusion at the event turned to terror as something grabbed my leg, pulling me into the swamp, and my scream echoed across the waters as the monstrous scaled, 6-limbed, prehistoric predator began to roll. Story 17. Finally I can escape Rome, I said to myself, fleeing the authorities. As I walked down the road, true fear hit me as I see familiar buildings in the distance. Story 18. The corpse shambled through the kitchen and put the frying pan in the sink. Damn it, Mom, if you won't listen to the doctor or God when they say you need to rest, who will it take to convince you? Story 19. DEC23 I thought it strange her parents paid double the ransom but didn't make the pickup. That is until I caught sight of my dog's tail disappearing into her mouth. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 20. I beamed when my friend smiled and called me a good person. It's such a liberating feeling, to be perceived as what you are not, in the eyes of the one you are trying to break down. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 21. They could help me. Why won't they help me? Story 22. After a 48-hour unpaid shift at the hydraulic compression company, I crashed into bed and I went to sleep. But I never woke up. Story 23. SCP-23Y was 6 afraid of 7. Because contestants will do anything to relieve their family's debt. Story 24. The people of the town thought they won the war against the witches when they captured their queen and burned her alive. When, after burning for 5 consecutive days, the carbonized corpse started moving again, increasing the fire on each move, they realized that they created something much worse than a witch. Story 25. I know you're still sad, but it happened hours ago. The show must go on. I turned around and faced the blinding lights while singing my heart out and tried not to think about how I was an only child now. Story 26. I woke up from a nap while inside the bus and saw every person's faces disfigured with their mouth wide open and eyes white as snow. I suddenly glimpsed my reflection in the bus mirror and saw the same. Story 27. I finally got the courage to check what's been making all the noise outside my room. I don't think I want to shut my eyes ever again. Story 28. I used to think I was cool and different because I have webbed fingers and toes. That was until the others' kids came over with their scissors. Story 29. As a mortician, I'm used to seeing a cadaver's eyes when shutting them. What I'm not used to is the eyes staring back. Story 30. The past few days I kept seeing a strange person in the woods. He looked like Santa. Mama said I was imagining again. When I woke up today on Christmas, one of my presents was a doll the same size as me. Its eyes looked scared and its body felt rough, like real skin. Story 31. The doctors called me into the delivery room. I stared in horror as my wife toyed with the mangled corpse of our firstborn daughter. Story 32. You're so clumsy, Johanna! I shouted after kicking her off the rooftop of a 15-story building. Story 33. The room was spinning as a woman I'd never seen before today took the stand. Between shaky breaths she said, "That's him, Your Honor," the man who then started sobbing. Story 34. No matter how much I tried, I never felt comfortable in my own body. That's why I'm in your body now, instead. Story 35. I thought I had pretty normal hands. But then I saw my friend's hands, and mine seemed more like that of a fish man. Story 36. I have been up on this mountain for about a week now. When I turned back from where I came after the day, the forest just kept going. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 37. My mother told me my twin sister was separated at birth. I tried to find her, but was only met with an obituary dated on my birthday. Story 38. He has his father's eyes, they said about my 11-month kid. I was the only one panicking as I struggled to pull them out of my kid's hands as everyone else laughed around my husband's rotting body. Story 39. His girlfriend said my grandfather actually lived through the Holocaust, so he loves meeting young Jewish people and sharing his story. He took another sip of the tea she had prepared, but started to doze long before the withered old man in Nazi regalia had even hobbled into the room. Story 40. As I felt the chafing slither up my spine that made my nerves shoot with pain. I knew it wouldn't be long until this being took over my body completely. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 41. It's been a week since exploring the ancient ruin and its curse has you growing sicker by the day. Your tribal elders have translated the first row of text on the walls and believe it means something like this is not a place of honor. Story 42. I was so happy when I saw the new dolls in the window shop. Until I've noticed the reflection of children ghosts that looked like the dolls. Story 43. I went to sleep on the hospital bed hoping to be better tomorrow. I didn't know what had happened, or if it was my cancer, but I woke up, skin melting, blood boiling, temperatures rising. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 44. I woke to my son screaming of a monster in his closet and I ran to his room. When I got him calmed down, I opened the closet to show him nothing was in there, and I whispered to the dark, "Please stop playing with you food." Story 45. Hurry up and get your mother's pain medicine, any sudden movements and she could die, texted my father. But when I arrived at the pharmacy it was closed, and I bowed my head in defeat, only to notice the giant crack in the pavement under my foot. Story 46. I never thought of how difficult it would be to climb a ladder while carrying my toddler. Until I lost my grip on her and she fell to the snarling horde below us. Story 47. It was going to keep me comfortable until the experts arrive, explained the paramedic as he pushed a bolus of morphine. He tried to make it sound convincing, but we could both now see the orange flicker through the vent on the dashboard that had pinned me to the chair. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 48. When given the choice between execution and torture, I immediately went for the latter. I just love watching the prisoners scream. Story 49. You remind me so much of your father, it's as if he's still here, his mother said tearfully before she rolled up the window and drove off. Having noticed his thinning hairline in the reflection of the window, he waited for her car to leave the neighborhood, then rushed back inside, grabbed his kit, and descended the stairs to take another slice of his vegetative father's scalp. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 50. Can anyone help me get out of this creative slump? My next victim is tied up in the basement, but I can't think of any more creative ways to off him. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.